Good morning, everyone. We are about to start our meeting. Please take a seat.
Доброе утро. Мы начинаем наше заседание. Пожалуйста, займите все свои места. Спасибо.
Good morning once again.
Доброе утро еще раз. Ваше превосходительство, дамы и господа, я приветствую вас. Я хотел бы поприветствовать вас на 29-м заседании Совета IRENA. Меня зовут Глория Магомбо. Я постоянный секретарь Министерства развития энергетики Зимбабве и буду председателем 28-го собрания Совета IRENA. Пункт номер 1 предварительной повестки дня этого собрания я объявляю 29-е заседание открытым, и я хотела бы поприветствовать и выступить, адресуясь Совету, членам Совета.
Of the 28th Council, Bangladesh, Director General La Camera, Deputy Director General, Directors, Staff of the IRENA Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe is humbled by your unwavering support during the time of his chairmanship of the 27th and 28th Council meetings, and on my behalf and that of my government, I would like to reiterate our immense gratitude and profound sense of responsibility in guiding the work and discussions of Council related to the implementation of the work program and budget of 2024-2025, as well as addressing important administrative issues and those of the institution. We are deeply honored by the trust the IRENA membership placed on us during our tenure. I want to commend the 15th IRENA Assembly Bureau, led by Slovenia, who through continuous engagements with membership managed to eventually resolve the membership impasse, and Zimbabwe supports the positive energy in line with ensuring smooth execution of IRENA. We want to commend the Secretariat and IRENA membership for the continuous work towards energy transition, which saw additional new renewable energy capacity of over 585 gigawatts through the year 2024. Climate change remains an emergency which needs urgent action from all of us. Zimbabwe, like all of you, acknowledges the work of IRENA on the assessments which we are doing in our country relating to distributed renewable energy systems for agriculture and health, which will further inform our rural electrification strategy and help attract investments into rural electrification, focusing on productive use of energy and improved health care. Zimbabwe is already doing work with the support of development partners on the viability gap funding for renewable energy mini-grids, coming up with smart green villages. We also are grateful for the continued work through APRA, where Zimbabwe has technical assistance, which we have already commenced in the feasibility of the concentrated solar power, a study for flexibility of our grid systems, capacity building in wind assessment, and these are clear exhibition of the importance of IRENA's role in the energy transition trajectory. We are looking forward to the second investment forum in Sierra Leone in this October as other platforms to unlock project financing, which remains a challenge, especially for the Global South. The call for investment forum has already been received with positivity. For our country, we have submitted 8 projects through the ETAF platform for potential funding ahead of the investment forum. These are key in changing financial architecture towards increasing investments to the Global South and seeds. We still have about 720 million people without access to modern energy, of which 600 million remain within the sub-Saharan Africa. As a country, we would like to acknowledge Mission 300, led by the World Bank and Africa Development Bank, aiming to have the population without access in sub-Saharan Africa by 2030. And Zimbabwe is one of the cohort countries in the second cohort where we have to come up with an energy compact, which is a roadmap which we are coordinating to ensure that we are able to attract investments into the sector and cover our energy supply deficit and also our 38% of our population without access. And some of the key pillars of this compact are expanding generation and modernizing the transmission and distribution networks, leveraging benefits of increased regional integration, embracing and scaling up the distributed renewable energy and clean cooking solutions for affordable last-mile access, incentivizing private sector participation to unlock additional resources, ensuring financial viability of utilities that provide reliable and affordable services. And this aims to raise about $9 billion for the investments across generation, transmission, distributing, off-grid distributed systems, including battery energy systems, clean cooking solutions, of which half of that will come from the private sector investments. The government recognizes the need to shift to sustainable and clean energy solutions and has made provisions to ensure that whilst we still have some of our resources like coal, which we will continue to develop, we'll do these in a much cleaner way. And we are moving towards the use of natural gas as a transition energy. And we are increasing our capacity and improving system stability, at the same time reducing the environmental impact, allowing us to balance reliability with climate responsibility. We are willing to collaborate in research with countries that are researching on reducing the cost of carbon capture and sequestration. We believe this is key in reducing the impact of fossil fuels in countries as countries move towards net zero. While hydropower remains a key contributor in our energy supply, we have been faced with challenges of climate change and persistent droughts, which have reduced water availability and impacted our generation capacity. Despite this, we continue to develop hydropower along the Zambezi through conjunctive use, while climate proofing these systems by integrating hydro with other renewable energy technologies. On reservoirs and land-based installations, complementing our existing generation infrastructure. The government, in collaboration with development partners, is also undertaking energy sector reforms, which include the further assessment of other renewable sources like wind, aimed at ascertaining that the energy mix is ultimately less dependent on non-renewable resources. Our approach to energy transition is pragmatic, inclusive, and forward-looking. By diversifying our energy mix, improving existing technologies, and expanding renewable energy solutions, Zimbabwe is positioning itself to meet growing demand while promoting sustainable development and resilience to climate change. And we have just completed the development of a national integrated resource plan, which is envisaging the deployment of 2.2 gigawatts of solar PV and up to 3.9 gigawatts with batteries by 2045. We are endowed with critical energy minerals, and riding on this demand for critical energy solutions, the transitional energy solutions, we need to move up the value chains, and partners are welcome to explore the industry by ensuring that we add value to the minerals and beneficiation, including localization of some of the value chains. Ladies and gentlemen, a shift to sustainable energy is not just about energy, it's about resilience, competitiveness, and prosperity. And we are open to partners, especially with the private sector, researchers, and other governments to develop innovative solutions that are both scalable and transformative. With policy reforms in place, including the move from unsolicited bidding to competitive procurement and enhanced incentives, including reduced regulatory costs, the future of the energy sector is bright. I want to reiterate Zimbabwe's commitment to the Southern African Renewables Investment Forum. Furthermore, let me take this opportunity to invite you all to the 2026 Sustainable Energy Week for SADC at the Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, where we are hosting together with the Southern African Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, SACRE, from the 23rd to the 27th of February 2026. We call upon you to support us as speakers, partners, exhibitors, and many more other ways which will assist in bringing investment to the Southern African Development Community region. Lastly, and most importantly, I would like to thank our hosts, the government of the UAE, represented here by Her Excellency, the UAE Permanent Representative, Dr. Nawal, the government of UAE's unwavering support and hospitality towards IRENA meetings will forever be appreciated. Your Excellency, please pass our gratitude to the entire leadership. Director General for IRENA, Mr. Francesco, the Deputy Director General, and the whole of IRENA Secretariat, you are forever appreciated for the event organization and support to the Council meetings. Thank you all for your support, and I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Vice Chair, Bangladesh, and the Rapporteur, Antigua and Barbuda. We were such a good team. We commit to supporting the incoming chairs. I thank you. This concludes the consideration of item 1 of the provisional agenda. I now invite Council to turn to item 2 of the provisional agenda, which will take up item 2A, the election of officials. According to Rule 15 of the Rules of Procedure of the Council shall elect a chair and a vice chair from its membership with due regard to equitable geographical representation. The Council will recall that at its 28th meeting in October 2024, it was informed that in line with geographic representation and rotation, members from Latin America and the Caribbean group of Council will be eligible for chairmanship of Council, while members of Europe and other group of Council in 2025 would be eligible for vice chairmanship. Accordingly, I would like to inform Council members that Costa Rica and Cyprus have been designated chair and vice chair of the 29th meeting of the Council. Do I take it that Council wishes to elect Costa Rica as chair? and Cyprus is vice chair of the 29th meeting of council. I hear no objection. It is so decided. It is my pleasure to declare Costa Rica, represented by His Excellency, Mr. Francesco Chacón Hernández, permanent representative to IRENA and ambassador to Costa Rica to the UAE as chair. In Cyprus, represented by Marios Panayides, permanent secretary of the Ministry of Energy, Commerce, Industry of Cyprus, is vice chair of the IRENA Council. I would like to extend my best wishes to Costa Rica and Cyprus, and I'm confident that under their stewardship, the outcomes of the council deliberations will reach greater heights. Let me now hand over to the incoming chair. Ambassador, please join me.
Thank you all. I hope we are going to jointly move the council forward and with the best spirit. Let's begin with further delay. So good morning. Of course, I would like to thank Zimbabwe, Dr. Gloria Mogombo, chair of the 28th Council, for her excellent leadership and her achievements as the previous chair, and recognize the work of Zimbabwe as a nation and as a champion of renewable energies for everything it has done in the last years. Before I address the council, I would like to turn to the appointment of the rapporteur. Rule 18 of the Rules of Procedure requires that the chair proposes a member of the council to act as a rapporteur. I would like to inform the council that I have proposed to Uganda to act as a rapporteur, and I am pleased that Uganda has accepted the responsibility. Do I take that the council agree with my proposal? If no objection is so decided, Uganda. Where's Uganda? Huh? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Uganda. You are the rapporteur. Good luck, and thank you for your generosity. Yeah. I would like to now that the full bureau of the 29th meeting of the council is elected, I would like to just say some words in this sense. Let me begin by expressing our sincerest gratitude, of course, to the United Arab Emirates, generous host country of IRENA, for their steadfast support to IRENA and for their exceptional hospitality in welcoming us here in Abu Dhabi. I think Her Excellency Dr. Nawal Al-Hosseini know that we are IRENA sees the UAE as perhaps a child will see its mother, right? And we hope that this relationship keeps up benefiting IRENA, but also enriching the visionary efforts of the wise leadership of the UAE in their quest for renewable energies. As I say, I also wish to acknowledge the ongoing chair, Zimbabwe, and the vice chair, Bangladesh, for their dedicated stewardship of the council. Costa Rica looks forward to working closely with Cyprus, our vice chair, and council members, alternates, and the whole of IRENA membership. It is an honor for Costa Rica to assume the chairmanship of the 29th Council meeting, where we gather at a pivotal moment in the global energy transition, one that requires bold ambition, shared responsibilities, and unwavering commitment to deliver on the promise of a cleaner and more resilient future. For decades in Costa Rica, we have demonstrated through our national decarbonization plan that an energy system almost entirely powered by renewable is possible, and it can go hand in hand with social and economic progress, resilience, and prosperity. Our government continues to build on this path. We also looked ahead to COP30 in Belém, Brazil, a historic opportunity for Latin American and Caribbeans. With the Amazon as its backdrop, COP30 will highlight both the vulnerabilities we face and the solution we can offer on renewables, on adaptation, and with it on giving future generation of opportunities. Eu estou seguro que o Brasil está na sala. Está Brasil na sala.
And I am sure Brazil is in the room. Are they not?
Abraço para os irmãos brasileiros.
My regrets for our brothers.
I see everywhere geographies with great tangible successes. Among many others, let me mention the amazing offshore aeolic park at Viana do Castelo in Portugal, for example, one of the biggest in Europe, or the Nur al-Ouassasat solar complex in the Kingdom of Morocco, or Lake Turkana wind power in Kenya, or the Girasol Solar Park in the Dominican Republic, geothermal complex Pilas 1 and Pilas 2 in my home country, Costa Rica, the Pavagada Solar Park in India, also an example, the geothermal plant Berlin in El Salvador, impressive Suncia Aeolic Park in the United States, the 2024 solar park plants in Antigua and Barbuda, or the geothermal plants in Russo Valley in the Commonwealth of Dominica. And closer up to us, let me mention the Aldafra Solar Park and the Sudair Solar Park, Sudair Industrial City in the UAE and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, respectively. Also examples of great achievements. And when I see also the room, I can see impressive renewable energy developing, for example, in China or in many of the European countries, if not all. And so, needless to say, what I'm trying to get to the point is that we have done a share of the work, still a lot to do, but our countries have indeed built up on renewable energy efforts for the future. Costa Rica is committed to foster dialogue and working with all members to accelerate renewable deployment, ensuring equity and aligning our efforts to improving lives and households to leave no one behind. Let us make this council a success. Muchas gracias, and with no more protocolary acts in our agenda, let's move to the so we are going to hear Her Excellency the Minister of Climate Change and Environment of the UAE, Dr. Amna Abdullah Al-Dahak. No. The Secretariat informs me.
It was a live feed. Your Excellency, I think there's a confusion. I don't think there was a statement by Her Excellency sent. So please accept our apologies for the confusion.
Thank you. I think the Secretary has to review this better, the best way, because it's not appropriate to do such protocolar mistakes. Please, we don't want this again. Thank you. Dr. Francesco La Camera, I invite you for your remarks. You have to be more careful.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of welcoming you to the 29th meeting of the Council. Today we have over 426 delegates representing 93 members participating in the Council meeting, both in person and online. It is a testament to IRENA's inclusive process and the timelessness of our mission that so many members participate in Council meeting. At the outset, let me express sincere gratitude to Zimbabwe, represented by His Excellencies Dr. Gloria Magumbo, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Power Development, and Bangladesh, represented by His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Abu Zafar, Permanent Representative to IRENA and Ambassador of Bangladesh to the UAE, for your leadership and work. I warmly welcome Costa Rica, represented by His Excellency, my friend Mr. Francisco Chacón Hernández, Permanent Representative to IRENA and Ambassador of Costa Rica to the UAE, and Cyprus, represented by Mr. Marios Panayides, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy, Commerce and Industry of Cyprus, for taking up the roles of Chair and Vice Chair, respectively. We look forward to working closely with you in the coming days. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the shift to a global renewable-based energy system is an undertaking of profound ethical and societal significance, with geopolitical dimensions. Priorities and circumstances are shifting, but the challenges remain the same. The current landscape is defined by the necessity to reduce greenhouse gas emission and scale up infrastructure investments, all while navigating national development and energy security ambitions. These efforts are interdependent and must be pursued through coordinated action and peer-to-peer cooperation. IRENA's work to address these multifaceted challenges, providing analysis, insight, and policy recommendation to ensure that the global shift to renewable energy is both effective and equitable. IRENA's compelling analysis reveals that 91% of newly commissioned renewable power projects in 2024 delivered power at lower cost than the cheapest newly constructed fossil fuel alternatives, underlying remarkable advances in cost competitiveness. This has culminated in estimated global saving of $467 billion in avoided fossil fuel costs, firmly establish the strategic value of renewables in bolstering both energy security and economic stability. While a small number of technologies saw minor cost upticks, onshore wind and solar PV remain the most competitive source of new power generation. The cost of a battery storage system has also undergone a monumental decline, plummeting by 93% since 2010. This data further underscores that investing in renewables is not merely an environmental imperative, but also the most financially sensible and profitable course of action. Despite significant progress in the global energy transition, several challenges continue to impede a uniform and swift advancement. A notable issue is the persistent and pronounced regional disparity in deployment. Last year, a disproportionate 84% of all capacity addition were concentrated in China, the United States, and the European Union. The concentration created a stark imbalance that threatened the principle of an equitable energy transition and undermined the collective speed required to meet global climate goals in a timely manner. Numerous developed countries must overcome the multi-phased triple penalty, characterized by the absence of supportive policies, high cost of capital, and inadequacies in grid infrastructure. These hurdles lock this country into reliance on older, more volatile energy systems, thereby exacerbating the global energy gap. Addressing these systematic barriers is essential to ensuring a truly inclusive and resilient global energy future. We need to take a hard look at why we are not moving faster and why more countries are not part of the renewable revolution. It is clear that we have not the luxury of time to develop a clean energy system in the way the fossil fuel-based system evolved over the past 150 years. To ensure a successful global energy transition, there must be a simultaneous evolution of policy and regulatory frameworks. This must be adapted to account for the current dynamics and strategically guide investment in grid infrastructure and transmission routes, both on land and at sea. New location for energy production, evolving trade partners, and changing center of demand must also be considered. This effort must be complemented by a strategic reorientation of institutional capacity, ensuring the skills and capabilities are precisely aligned with the future energy system. Innovation is another strategic imperative for the energy transition. IRENA's Innovation Week is at the forefront of convening a diverse group of stakeholders to share cutting-edge solutions and accelerate digital and technological advancements. The 2025 edition addressed the critical topic of renewable and digitalization for a sustainable energy future and explored new business and financial models, adaptive regulation, and social innovation. Another key pillar of IRENA's work is the strategic guidance and technical expertise provided to members to transform their climate pledges into actionable energy plans. Over the past few years, IRENA has been actively engaging with over 100 countries to support their climate action efforts. We have seen approximately 30 countries submit the third generation of their national development contribution, which include updated energy sector targets. IRENA is currently supporting approximately 30 additional countries with their NDC 3.0 submission, which are anticipated before COP30 in Belém. With the generous support of the UAE and Denmark, and in partnership with the NDC partnership, this assistance is comprehensive. It's meant for providing data and statistics and conducting resource assessment to performing technology and mitigation analysis. Meanwhile, the regional dimension of IRENA's work continues to expand based on member needs and requests. In partnership with Azerbaijan, IRENA launched the Accelerated Partnership for Renewable Energy in Central Asia, the so-called Africa, structured around 4 strategic pillars: strengthening energy infrastructure, enabling local value creation and green industrialization, enhancing policy and regulatory frameworks, mobilize private sector investment. The initiative now counts on Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyz Republic, and Tajikistan as members. APRECA is now moving into the crucial fundraising and implementation phase. The pledging event is planned for October in Kazakhstan, and national consultation workshops will be held in all 4 members' countries over the coming month to identify priority action for IRENA and its partners to engage in at both the national and regional levels. IRENA's project facilitation platform, CIP and ETAF, continue to yield a positive outcome. 3 of the 25 future projects at the Upper Investment Forum resulted in financial closure, and another was in advanced discussions. Furthermore, 27 project applications have been received for the upcoming Sierra Leone APRA Investment Forum. Meanwhile, we are advancing work in Central Asia under the APRA initiative, as well as Latin America, Southeast Asia, and CITES. IRENA acts the secretariat for both APRA and APRECA regional initiatives. In addition, we are actively promoting sustainable aviation fuels as a key decarbonization pathway and developing a dedicated financing windows under ETAF to help SAF projects secure financial resources. This window will also provide support, including the risk services and targeted technical assistance. IRENA has also intensified its focus on carbon markets and trading as a critical tool for financing the energy transition by forging strategic partnership and expanding collaboration. So, dear friends, we stand at a pivotal moment with a moral obligation to ensure an inclusive, equitable, and prosperous climate-safe world for all, one that leaves no one behind. We do possess the tools and resources to deliver on this promise, but we must also critically assess our collective readiness to meet this challenge. Now more than ever, success requires immediate action, unwavering political resolve, and unified action from all. It is my profound hope that our discussion today and tomorrow will generate the strategic insight and innovative ideas needed to make this year a definite targeting point in the global energy transition powered by renewables. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Director General. I now give the floor to the Vice Chair, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Energy, Commerce and Industry of Cyprus, Mr. Mario Panayides.
Thank you, Chair. Excellencies, Director General, distinguished delegates, on behalf of the Republic of Cyprus, I wish to thank Council members for entrusting us with the role of Vice Chair of this 29th Council meeting. We are honored to contribute to IRENA's important work. Though a small island, member state of the European Union, Cyprus is deeply committed to IRENA's mission. We have actively participated in initiatives ranging from the Long-Term Energy Scenarios Network and the Small Island Developing States Lighthouses Initiative to collaborative frameworks on renewables, green hydrogen, and the geopolitics of energy transition. For us, the energy transition is not only an environmental necessity, but also a path to security, resilience, and prosperity. International cooperation is the only way to ensure access to clean and sustainable energy, and IRENA remains central to this effort. As Vice Chair, Cyprus will work constructively with the Chair, the Secretariat, and all members to ensure inclusive and forward-looking deliberation and strengthen IRENA's role at the heart of the global energy transition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cyprus. This concludes the consideration of item 2A of the provisional agenda. I'll now invite the council to turn to item 2B of the provisional agenda, adopting of the agenda. The provisional agenda is contained in the document C-29-L.1. As you have seen, the provisional agenda for the coming 2 days contains a number of programmatic, policy, and institutional discussions which are of direct relevance to the ongoing work of the agency, of its work program in the current and future biennium. I would like to inform the council that Austria informed the Secretariat that under any other business, it will bring up an issue on the establishment of an open-ended group to review and adapt IRENA's rules of procedure. In addition, and in light of the number of items scheduled to be discussed on Friday afternoon, the Vice Chair and I request the Secretariat to open of the council meeting tomorrow to 9 a.m. instead of 10. We have interesting discussions ahead of us. The Vice Chair and I are determined to make the most of the council time and to facilitate engaging discussions on all matters contained in the agenda for this meeting. Do I take it that the council wishes to adopt the agenda for its 29th meeting in set out in document C-29-L.1? The UAE, please.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Let me start first by welcoming everybody back to Abu Dhabi. It's such a nice feeling to have everybody around this amazing room again. And I would like to congratulate you, Your Excellency, for your appointment as chair, and congratulate Cyprus and Uganda for their role, and thank Zimbabwe and Bangladesh for all their efforts. Please, on this point, on the adoption of the agenda, the UAE suggests that for future councils, the item on general member statements to be considered for removal. Such statements, I believe, are best placed in the Assembly, which is the forum for broad policy directions. The Council, on the other hand, we believe should remain focused on its core mandate, namely the agency's work program, finance matter, and institutional issues. Keeping this focus will strengthen the efficiency and the impact of our discussions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, UAE. I hear no objection, right? So it is so decided. I would like to remind delegations that our meeting today is expected to end at 6 p.m. Abu Dhabi time. However, we may extend as needed for an additional 30 minutes. Before we take up the rest of the agenda item, I would also like to inform members that simultaneous interpretation into the 6 official languages is provided. This concludes the consideration of item 2B of the agenda. I now invite the council to turn to agenda item 3, progress report of the Director General of the implementation of the work program and budget 2024-2025. The council has before it document C-29-2. Please also refer to the report of the council of the program and strategy committee C-29-CRP-2 and the report of the Chair of the Administration and Finance Committee C-29-CRP-3. The Council may also wish to refer to the information note containing reports on the collaborative framework, which was circulated by the Secretariat on 22nd of August 2025. I will now invite the Director General, Mr. Lacamera, to introduce the topic, which, as a rule of this chair, I will ask everybody to be very brief, concise, and to the point. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of introducing the progress report on the implementation of IRENA's work program and budget 2024-2025. The details of our work since the Assembly are laid out in the document before you. I would, however, like to draw your attention to some key highlights. This serve two purposes. They demonstrate the scope of our recent efforts and offer a concise overview of the current global energy transition. The world is experiencing unprecedented growth in renewable energy. IRENA's data shows that a record-breaking of 582 gigawatts of new capacity were added in 2024, bringing the global total to approximately 4,443 gigawatts. And the preliminary data that we have received concerning the 2025 let us estimate that there will be more than 700 gigawatts being installed in 2025. This surge, overwhelmingly driven by solar and wind power, demonstrates that renewables are now the dominant force in new power generation. As a result, the overall share of renewable energy in total installed power capacity reached 46.2%. The good news continues. For a remarkable 91% of all renewable power projects commissioned last year, the cost of electricity was lower than the cheapest newly built fossil fuel alternative. This has resulted in a staggering $467 billion in avoided fossil fuel costs globally, reinforcing the strategic value of renewables in enhancing energy security and economic stability. However, significant regional disparities in deployment persist year after year. China, the United States, and the European Union collectively accounted for 84% of all new capacity in 2024, leaving evident disparity that threatened to undermine the equitable and rapid energy transition. The central reason for the regional disproportionate deployment is the equally disproportionate investment in renewables. Despite record investment in 2023, renewables capacity funding remains far below the $1.5 trillion needed every year between now and 2030 to stay on track toward the global objective to triple installed renewable capacity by 2030, as mandated under the historic UE consensus. The widening financial deficit is driven in part by regional disparities and investment volatility, which regions such as Africa experienced a nearly 50% decline in international project financing between 2022 and 2023. In particular, sub-Saharan Africa received 40 times less per capita investment than the global average. IRENA's various work streams examine this disparity and focus on exploring solutions based on national, regional, and global requirements and circumstances. A recent example is the establishment of the Global Coalition of Energy Planning, in which IRENA acts as the secretariat. The core value of the GCEP is to strategically connect energy planning with investment mobilization. This is achieved by creating enabling environments through transparent planning and coordinated partnerships, fostering investment-ready plans via knowledge exchange and credible project pipelines, and building robust governance with national ownership and sustained implementation mechanisms. The Accelerated Partnership for Renewable Energy in Africa is expanding rapidly, now counting 10 member countries with the inclusion of Uganda in June 2025. In addition to the 7 national priority action plans already developed, the Djibouti plan is being finalized and consultation in Mozambique will be held next week. Uganda will also follow, and Eswatini is going to join the partnership very soon. Through IRENA's role as secretariat to APRA, and thanks to the voluntary contribution of partners countries as Denmark and Japan, APRA has also been working to support project facilitation activities in Ethiopia, Ghana, Namibia, and Zimbabwe. Together with the government of Sierra Leone, IRENA will convene the second APRA Investment Forum on 23rd October in Freetown. Technical assistance based on national priorities highlight in national plans is also ongoing, focusing on power sector development, nexus, and access. Overall, APRA's growing footprint underscores its role as a catalyst for renewable energy project facilitation and skills development to enhance energy access, enable green industrialization, and foster economic and social resilience across Africa. IRENA project facilitation platform, CFP, and ETAF continue to show positive results. IRENA received 27 new project applications for the upcoming investment forum in Sierra Leone, and we are working diligently with project developers to bring them to the required level to be featured in the forum. In partnership with Azerbaijan, IRENA has launched the Accelerated Partnership for Renewable Energy in Central Asia, as I say in my introduction. This initiative, launched at COP29, focuses on four strategic pillars: strengthening infrastructure, enabling green industrialization, enhancing policy framework, and mobilizing private investment. We are pleased to announce that Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, and Tajikistan has already joined. Africa is now entering fundraising and implementation phase, with a pledging event scheduled for October in Kazakhstan, a national workshop to identify priority action. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, over the past few years, IRENA has engaged with more than 100 countries on climate action. We have seen roughly 30 countries amid their third generation of NDC. We updated energy sector targets. IRENA is currently supporting about 30 additional countries with their NDCs 3.0 submission, and as I already say, with the general support of UAE and Denmark, and in partnership with the NDC partnership. In June, we also held the 2025 edition of IRENA's Innovation Week, a biennial flagship event, convening a diverse group of stakeholders to share cutting-edge solutions and accelerate digital and technological advancement. The meeting addressed the critical topic of renewables and digitalization for a sustainable in the future, and explore new business and financial models, adaptive regulation, and social innovation. Before I conclude, I'd like to highlight the IRENA has significantly increased the visibility of its flagship reports, including through a strategic partnership with the United Nations on joint communication and stakeholder outreach activities across multiple platforms. For example, since its publication in March, IRENA's Renewable Capacity Statistic 2025 report has been downloaded 20,000 times. Impressively, within the first month, IRENA data was mentioned in 1,500 media articles in 22 languages across 88 countries. Moreover, in the 2 weeks following the joint launch of the UN Secretary General Climate Speech Technical Report, such as the Moment of Opportunity in July, which permanently feature and refer to IRENA data, IRENA's Renewable Power Generation Cost Report was downloaded more than 80,000 times, making a 40% increase compared to the same period last year. In addition, in our month alone, our cost report has been mentioned in over 1,300 media articles in 80 countries, a 500% increase in media coverage compared to the last year. So, dear friends, as we conclude, let us remember that our collective strength as a global family is our greater strategic asset. Our progress is a testament to the power of unity and the shared purpose. With a clear vision and unwavering commitment, we will ensure that our collective efforts not only meet immediate goals, but also strategically pave the way for a more resilient, inclusive, and equitable sustainable energy future for all. I look forward to hearing your insight and having meaningful discussion. And with your permission, Mr. Chair, I will allow my director to enter more in details on the progress report. So, my directors.
Briefly, please.
Gurbus Gunul, please first.
Thank you very much, Director General, Mr. Chair. Good morning to all. And great pleasure to share updates on our work in three key areas. Next slide, please. First point is on supporting national energy transitions. We are working with over 30 countries to update the energy components of their NDCs, aligned with the global goal of tripling renewables. Thanks to the support of the UAE and Denmark, we have delivered technical recommendations in 12 countries, primarily informed by our energy transition assessments, built capacities on energy data and resource assessments in 8 countries, and conducted technology and infrastructure analysis on mitigation options, planning, grid flexibility, and bioenergy in another 11. In Southeast Europe, we have helped countries align NDCs with ambitious national energy and climate plans. We are piloting country strategies in 3 countries to overcome barriers to tripling renewables, such as infrastructure, supply chains, and investment, creating clear action plans to reach national renewable goals. Next slide, please. Second point is on advancing industry alliances for tripling and decarbonization. Through the Utilities for Net Zero Alliance, with more than 70 members, we are tackling challenges such as supply chains, investments, and skills. A recent report shows how common standards accelerate progress, from scaling access technologies in India to solar deployment in Namibia. We also lead the Alliance for Industry Decarbonization, now with over 80 members. And a flagship project is the South Hydrogen Corridor, producing green hydrogen in North Africa and delivering it to Europe. And this framework ensures finance, policy, and safeguards are aligned to scale hydrogen hubs worldwide. I am pleased to note that both alliances have been invited by COP30 presidency to help shape plans for tripling renewables and decarbonizing end-use sectors. And many thanks to the UAE for supporting our engagement with the industry. Next slide, please. My final point is about powering remote communities with renewables. Our global initiative is replacing diesel with clean energy in some of the world's most vulnerable areas, from small islands to mountains and to indigenous lands and conflict zones. In phase 1, we built knowledge with a guidebook, as well as developed a network reaching out to 10 countries and 15 partners. Now, phase 2 is moving to action on the ground, needs assessment in Indonesia and Malaysia, skill training for micro-hydro and solar mini-grid operators, and South-South exchanges linking African countries with Nepal. With strong support from Canada and the partners, we are delivering practical community-driven solutions. We will showcase progress this October in Olade Energy Week and then at COP. Thank you very much.
Who's next? A very friendly director. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I would like to go very quickly because I need to limit myself to 3 minutes. DG and Chair already mentioned that, so no need to continue on this. I think we all both talked about ETAF and CIB. So let's talk about the results of what we have done in the past 12 months. We have provided the complete financial closure support for 3 projects in Zimbabwe. The numbers talk about itself, is at about $25 million, including more than 40% of equity, and the remaining is debt. That's happened under APRA, Everest Investment Forum in Kenya, and also saving more than 60,000 equivalent ton of CO2, as well as also providing it for about 60% of the budget. We also provided Dominica with a project in technology from Israel. And as mentioned yesterday during the BSSC, this is basically provided with a technical assistance coming from IRENA, from the core budget on this project, and also saved about, provided more than $60 million project in partnership with our ETAF partners and CIB. For the ETAF, thanks to the government of United Arab Emirates, they already provided $30 million grant for the project in Comoros, and we have provided part of the due diligence in our partners from Swiss Re, And the project basically providing more than 20,005 CO2 equivalent saving for the Comoros, and it's a solar PV project. For APRA, also there is one project we are working on it that's basically for Sierra Leone, and it's basically about how we increase the existing hydropower plant by adding additional $50 million, 25 megawatt, up to between 25 to 50 megawatt project for hydropower, and it's basically happening with our partnership with our OBIC fund partners. Most probably we're coming also with Africa 50, but I'm working on that. The project we expect it to be announced for general procurement notice in Sierra Leone during the next investment forum in Freetown in October. Also, we have been requested a support from more than 7 countries, like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, a last of which was Bangladesh yesterday. They want us to provide support for realizing their carbon credit potential. And we do so. We're already investing a lot of resources, more than 50 of our resources. Yesterday, the BSSC members, they asked about what is the resources for providing such kind of support. It's already 50% of our VC from Italy, from Denmark, and from Japan, thanks to their support, as well as additional 50% coming from our core budget in response to the needs of the countries. And basically, the idea is to create a momentum for a carbon credit market by creating what we call it at the second globally carbon credit exchange, and in partnership with one of the private sector from United Arab Emirates, which is IHC, and also with other partners from the non-profit international regional organizations called the SIDARI, and we continue on this, and we are reaching the final stage of preparing the MOU, which will be finalized. We will share it for sure with the council before signing it. That's I want to highlight that. The key important issue here is that the UNFCCC as well, in partner with us, we are providing a complete, tailored, fit for purpose for country-based level how can they monetize their carbon credit by creating a robust carbon exchange and carbon credit mechanism. Finally, for the issue of sustainable aviation fuel, we have been working with the International Civil Aviation, as DG mentioned in his intervention, and we are going to create within the flexible structure of ETAF a new window for Invest. That is the original structure we had agreed with UAE since the beginning, represented by the development partner Abu Dhabi Fund for Development. Any new intervention for any kind of new support for any sectors that really helping for minimizing the impact or climate change globally, we can do that with the flexible structure of ETAF. And we do that with ICAO, that's called Invest. And we are going basically to finalize it in the coming few weeks. For sure, we share that also with the council when it comes to the right moment to provide that for the council member states. I stop here. Thank you very much. Back to the DG. Thank you, sir.
Allow me, before giving the floor to Ute, that in my presentation I made a mistake. I referred to the previous permanent representative of Bangladesh. I wish to refer now to Mr. Tariq Ahmed. Sorry for reading wrongly and the spelling the name wrongly. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General. And you are who?
I'm Ute Collier. I'm the Acting Director of the Knowledge Policy and Finance Center.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to give you a brief update of some of the areas of work of KPFC. The Director General has already referred to the renewable energy statistics work, which is an important part of what we do. So let me just briefly talk about resource assessment. That's an area where we work with quite a few of our member states, for example, to map investment opportunities for utility scale solar and wind, where we recently produced assessments for Georgia and Colombia, with Angola in the pipeline. You're probably aware of things like the Global Atlas and Solar City Simulator, where we've worked with quite a number of member states, for example, Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. Under APRA, we've assisted Zimbabwe recently on assessing technical and financial viability of 10 solar sites. Then talking about policy, which is another important part of KPFC's work, right? We've have long expertise on renewable energy auctions, which is one of the key policy instruments, of course, to scale up deployment if you get it right. Here we've, based on the analytical work we've done and collecting the case studies, we've worked with a number of countries on capacity building, in particular in Africa, where we've worked with 12 African countries recently, and we've got more coming up. We've also worked with GIZ on tailored support on renewable energy policies in Senegal. We continue with our work on the end-use sectors as well, just highlighting two recent reports on electric vehicles for road transport and green hydrogen in Central Asia. Maximizing benefits for us has long been a key area of our work, because we need to show that the energy transitions and renewables, obviously we produce energy, but we also can ensure that there are a number of benefits, job creation. You know our annual report. We're working on the 2025 edition. We've long worked on the gender perspective, where in a couple of months you see an update of our 2019 report, where we looked at the share of women in the renewable energy sector. I can tell you now it hasn't changed massively, but it's important work, and we continue to give recommendations how this can be improved. And then one aspect we're increasing our work is not just looking at socioeconomics, but also the environmental impacts of renewables. Job is important as we're scaling up very rapidly, and we need to ensure that we do it in a way that's nature sensitive, that's sensitive in terms of agriculture. And here we've recently produced, under the Coalition of Action, some nature positive principles with recommendations for policymakers. But we also are working with the support of China now, specifically on the environmental impacts of utility scale solar, where there has been criticism in some places, but we're trying to show the many case studies of where mutual benefits can be found. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Director General. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Noela Constantinescu, Acting Director of IRENA Innovation and Technology Center in Bonn, Germany. And I will just like to deep dive a little bit in what already the Director General mentioned. One of the flagship events we have every second year in Bonn, Innovation Week. Here you can see some nice pictures and some nice drawing. It's not only about that, it's about actually uniting the minds of innovators which are looking at energy transition, but not only. They are looking, and we discussed and we exchange on what Director General already underlined, how to integrate renewables in power system, how to address flexibility needs, how to use the digital solutions. And on the other hand, we looked at how we can promote innovation into emerging and developing markets and economies. So it was a very successful event, and based on this, on use cases we have seen, on examples from companies from member countries, from financing institutions, from other organizations, we can actually bridge our future activities into the next work program, taking into account the state of the art. And one example, for instance, will be what we have gathered there to use in the context of digitalization and use of AI or data centers, which required electricity, in the new report we developed with the support of Canada. Another work stream which I would like to mention and which is at the base of IRENA, the technical assessment, the Director General mentioned our input, which we provided to United Nations Secretary General in his technical brief and then speech, the moment of opportunity, sizing the moment of opportunity. We covered through our assessment the G20 countries, but we went also beyond. And what we do now, we go into regional assessments to get more granular information around the performance indicators actually which support the deployment, and not only the deployment, but the integration and the use of renewables across the system through electrification or other energy vectors. And the one which we published in June, it's EU Regional Transition Outlook for 27 countries of EU. We also looked in Eastern Partnership, and we now are providing for, in the view of COP30, the South America Regional Transition Outlook. In terms of the costing, so it was already mentioned by...
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
What do you mean by South America? What did you say? South America?
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
So
develop that.
So there are few. So there are certain countries which I will take in bilateral with you. So it's Latin America, but then we focus on countries like Brazil, and we will follow up actually with Caribbean as well.
Yes, but it is a little late because in October we have the COP. I mean, it is very good that you do that, or you are thinking to do that, but it's coming late for the COP. So very good, all these report. I appreciate it very much. It shows a lot of excellent work. But if you want to be ready for the COP, you should have begun that time ago.
It is ready.
We are in September. It's late.
It will be ready for COP.
I hope.
Yes.
And we'll measure you for that.
Okay. Thank you. Now
continue, but be a little brief, so we give the opportunities to the other directors.
Okay, I'm the last one, I hope. So another technical assessment which we did, of course, is the costing report for renewables in the power sector. But what we also do, we look at other technologies which are important, for example, the batteries or the electrolyzers, as well as we take into account the new developments which are appearing in terms of hybrid system, where solar PV or wind farms are connected to storage capabilities. So by taking into account and by making assessments regarding the integration costs. So this is going to be further developed. And the last one, it's about actually the stakeholder engagement, but in a form of action. And this was launched at the requirement of Brazil last year, the Global Coalition for Energy Planning, which was president of G20. So this year we implemented, we had the summit, first summit in June, and we act on two pillars. On one hand, we look at enhancing technical and implementing capacities, and on the other hand, we look on how to transform actually the energy planning into investments and pipeline of projects. And in with this, I will close by saying that this is also going to go to COP30 in Brazil for actually announcement of the members. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope it is ready by then, given that we are in September. I now invite the chair of the Thank you, Director General. Thank you, directors. I think it has been a very interesting exercise, and I'm very happy to see all the work it has been achieved in Africa, in Asia, in different parts of the world. I have to be honest, I didn't heard much of Latin America and less so of the Caribbean. I have to say that it is a pending of the organization to focus on that part of the world which has needs too, and I have the feeling that some of the directors don't have it clear. So I'm sure the Director General has it clear because he has a wonderful experience in his previous capacity as Director of Environment of Italy. And I recall that was a very amazing experience for the continent. I didn't work with you on that. But in this capacity, I don't think there is much done, and I want to put that challenge in order to also, we give a thought on the island nations of the CARICOM, which are important, on the smaller countries of Central America that are important, but also on the other countries of the hemisphere. Thank you. Now I invite the Chair of the Program and Strategy Committee, Her Excellency Mrs. Vanessa Interiano, Permanent Representative of IRENA and Coordinator for International Energy Affairs of El Salvador, to inform the Council on the deliberations of the Committee on this topic. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I am pleased to provide an update on the results of the recent PSC discussions. On 10 September, the committee held a valuable and productive interchange of views, and I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the members who contributed to the meeting. The committee addressed 3 agenda items, namely the progress report of the Director General on the implementation of the work program and budget for 2024-2025, including updates on collaborative frameworks. The preliminary framework for the work program and budget for 2026-2027 and issues raised by members at March 2025 PSC meeting. I will now take a moment to reflect upon the salient points and key messages that have emerged from our recent discussions. The committee welcomed the report of the Director General on the implementation of the work program and budget. Some participants urged IRENA to include an executive summary in future progress and annual reports capturing developments and work of the agency. Some participants called on IRENA to expand the programmatic activities targeting the Latin America and Caribbean region to help the countries address emerging challenges related to the energy transition. Some participants urged IRENA to examine and provide policy recommendations on critical issues such as the recycling of solar panels, carbon market creation, data collection, harmonization across countries, and new sources of bioenergy. A participant called for deeper strategic level discussions at committee meetings regarding programmatic work and priorities. A participant welcomed the implementation of the results-based program framework, suggested the creation of an online dashboard to access the data, and expressed interest in learning how the data informs strategic decisions. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I am pleased to share with you the outcome of the PSC discussions on the preliminary framework for the work program and budget for 2026-2027, as well as the update by the Secretariat on issues raised by members at PSC meeting held in March 2025. I will now reflect some of the PSC discussion on the preliminary framework for the work program and budget for 2026-2027. Some participants welcomed the preliminary framework as a good basis for the next work program and budget. A participant highlighted the critical work emanating from collaborative frameworks and called on IRENA to review their modalities to ensure increased and direct impact on the ground. A participant highlighted the need to expand the regional dimension of IRENA's work and suggested the creation of an initiative focusing on Latin America and the Caribbean in the upcoming work program and budget. A participant underlined the need for IRENA to continue being a strong voice for renewables and fostering multilateralism in light of the current geopolitical climate. A participant applauded IRENA's programmatic activities and initiatives, but also called on the agency to ensure prioritization and careful consideration before establishing new ones and to focus on its core mandate and key strengths. With regard to the agenda item on issues raised by members at the March 2025 PSC meeting, some participants saw clarity on the relationship between IRENA and a partner organization in the context of the Accelerated Partnership for Renewables in Africa. So participants welcomed the work under the Accelerated Partnership for Renewables in Africa and invited IRENA to share the work plan as well as a staff and resource allocation and oversight. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to all PSC members, to the broader membership who joined our discussions, and to the Secretariat for the dedicated support.